What's going on today, guys? This is Tony, and
This is Matt.
it's Team DivinePro. And today on Cardtaku, the very first episode, we will be talking about a spotlight. So as you'll probably find out by the end of this video, that we're doing this for a shout-out / spotlight video on Domino Paris 21's channel. So big shout-out to him, and thanks to him for letting us be on his channel. So the questions we have to answer from him are 4 questions and then one topic that we choose from a 3 of. And we'll start this off with, how long have you been playing this game? So Matt, if you want to go first.
Sure, I can go first. Well, basically, I first got started into this game when my friend accidentally stumbled upon the first episode on YouTube when he was flipping through some Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's episodes. And once he found it out, he immediately introduced it to me. So I got introduced to the game as soon as it got started, from the very first set 1. Set 2 release in Japan. I think that's pretty much the story. As soon as he got into it, he was like, "Dude, you got to get into this. I think it's so much more fun than Yu-Gi-Oh!" Because he sort of jumped off the Yu-Gi-Oh! Bandwagon a long time ago.
Dude, oh my gosh, it's funny that you say that, because it's actually how legitimately I got into Cardfight Vanguard. I was watching 5Ds back in the day, and I was looking at 5Ds and I want to watch another episode, and I'm like, oh wait, what's this thing at the top? It's like, oh, Vanguard? Let me click on that. I'm like, whoa, this is actually hype. And then there was 19 episodes released at that time, and I just watched all 19 in one day. I marathoned it. I was like, oh, this is too good.
Yeah, I think that's what my friend did, and next thing you know, he's like, dude, we all got to jump on this bus because everything is super cool. The concept is different. The artwork is different. The whole storyline is completely different from what we were used to when the only card games that were out at the time that were super hyped were Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic, which doesn't have a show, I don't think, and then some other minor stuff.
Yeah, that just the show alone is enough. Now, I don't know if you know about WeCross, but that's what they're pretty much copying. Vanguard is being copied a lot now, and I guess that's how people get into playing it. Even before legitimate cards came out, I proxied cards. I took Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards and put pieces of paper in it. I'm like, okay, these are my critical triggers, these are my heal triggers.
Oh yeah, that's what we did. we proxied our entire 50 card decks. He started out with Royals and I started out with Oracle Think Tank.
Too good. Oh yeah, how do you think of did you see the new Oracle Think Tank card, the Legion?
Oh, I'm in love with the new Legion.
Actually, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it gives CEOs some much needed life.
Yeah.
Dude, I hated the cross-ride. The cross-ride does not exist in my universe.
Dude, the cross-ride was it's so good, but then you'll never get it off because you'll always get it blocked, and when you do get it off, you're already winning. So it's pointless. Pretty much. Okay, but anyways, guys, before we keep on going, I like to mention that there's at least 2 more members of our team that are missing. So we have Matt, technically co-founder with me of Team DivinePro. He's unable to attend, and also we have Marcus, aka Scruffy Pillows, unable to attend as well, but they are here in spirit, and next time Cardtaku rolls around, hopefully the A-team will be together again. Cue the A-team track, which is not going to happen because we're recording. Alright, so next thing is, any other comments, Matt, before you move on, or is that it?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, so next thing is, why do you love Cardfight Vanguard?
My first impression was because that, unlike Yu-Gi-Oh!, you can pretty much find everything within a certain amount of sets rather than buying several, and mostly because of the artwork. Because me trying to be somewhat of an artist myself, I can really come to appreciate a lot of these people's art and how much detail they can put into these different art forms. Not only that, but they can incorporate the themes behind each clan into the artwork. So it's not so much of a game to me as much as it is I guess an art gallery for me. So I can better appreciate not only their skills but their background behind them, since every card has a lore.
Yeah, that's actually really true. I never thought about that. Yeah, guys, if you ever want to see Matt's art, he's actually a really good artist. I will say so for myself, being I like to draw and stuff as well, but I'm not as nearly as good as you are, Matt. But yeah, if you want, like I think that you should upload some more like of your own art onto the Team DivinePro channel Facebook page. Comment. It'll be in the comment section. I mean, description box down below if you guys want to see that. But yeah, it's really about the art. Like I never thought about it that way, but really good thing.
All right, what about you?
Me, why do I love it? Well, first off, I love it because it's not Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's not complicated and it's really easy. That's one of them. And the second one is that, like, it's just, when you play a card game like Yu-Gi-Oh! For so long, and then you realize that you're just going to lose money every time you play the game, it's not worth it. And then when you see something like Cardfight Vanguard, it's like, oh, I can use this deck and I can still probably win most of the time consistently. And on top of that, is just the fact that I enjoy animes that have, like, I enjoy card games that have animes devoted around the card game itself, because like something like Pokemon, you'd expect to play, like the DS game, I understand that, but the card game, I wouldn't understand that, if you know what I mean.
No, I completely understand. I'm basically in the same boat as you are with that explanation.
Exactly. So yeah, but like what you said as well is like really, really true. Like the reason why I really started getting into Cardfight Vanguard was because I saw Dragonic Overlord, and I was like, wow, that looks really cool and really boss. And I was like, okay, I'll play that. So it really is an art thing that gets you into it. Like you're not going to want to play Mega Colony because it's a bug.
No, even though you play it because it catches your eye and you think, ooh, what does that do? Because that's pretty much how everyone plays. They see, like, say, Nebula Lord is like, oh my gosh, that looks amazing. I'm going to play that because it's freaking broken and it looks cool. That's like the people's first impression.
Actually, so true. All right. So guys, Cardfight Vanguard, why we love it? We love it for the art and because it's fun and simple. Pretty much straight down the bones. So now, moving on, what are your favorite decks?
Okay, I have to immediately say Goddess of the Full Moon, because that is the first deck that I got introduced to with my friend. That was the first deck that I proxied all 50 cards, and Oracle Think Tank was the first deck that I started with, because I think of myself more of like a defensive player. So when I thought of a deck that had a draw power sort of theme, my immediate thought reaction was, oh, okay, if I can keep a certain amount of hand advantage, I'll be able to replenish my field in case that if I lose my resources, I can replenish them at no cost or at any time. So that was my technical style. I'm more of a defensive player. But as the game has, I guess you can say, evolved over the 2-3 years that it's been around, I've actually come to like a lot of the Zoo Nation clans, most particularly Great Nature and Neo Nectar specifically Musketeers.
Neo Nectar is so good. I like the art. That looks nice. It's like green and it's just really nice. Pops at you.
Oh, I love the artwork for all the Musketeers, especially for the new ones that are coming out in Japan. Ugh, I'm so jealous.
Oh yeah, they're actually pretty nice. Yeah. So, any other decks, or should I go on?
No, I think that's. Oh well. And I guess you could say Pale Moon, but Pale Moon sort of got a little overhyped, and on the way I'm playing it is different. But I'm only using that as a fun deck just to mess around at locals.
You always need the troll deck.
Oh yeah, it's incredibly troll. With the Break Ride and Liqueur, I've been able to pull off Liqueur consistently within a fight like 3-4 times.
That's impressive. So moving on to me, I guess I could say, well, my first deck in my first, like, one clan that I really like is Kagero, and I'd probably say anything revolve around the end. I don't feel that Nouvelle Vague, like, even though it's an amazing card, I don't love it as much as anything revolving around the end, just because of the fact that I find it's overhyped, and I just don't like the concept of having a grade 4 in the game and having something extremely broken like that. And that looks kind of ugly with really long legs. It's just weird to me. But I would probably say under the same category for Kagero, I would say the Perdition dragons, like the new ones that are coming out for Vortex Dragon, because Vortex Dragon was so cool in the anime, and I was looking so forward to playing it, except I never got the Soul Blast off, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to trade this card away. I'll come back for it later.
Yeah, Vortex, all the Mega Blasters for all the clans sort of got, I guess you could say, overshadowed. Yeah, and the only one that really got any sort of light was CEO, and it has 2 now, and one is better than the other, obviously.
Yeah. Fun fact, though, Vortex Dragon was supposed to be the main dragon for Kai over Dragonic Overlord. Fun fact.
Dragonic Overlord got too much popularity.
That's probably true. That's probably why now, with Blaster Blade, spoilers, guys, for the anime if you haven't seen already, Blaster Blade, when it gets taken away from Kai, he goes back to playing Kajiro probably, which is what a lot of people are speculating, which is off of BT17. And other decks would probably be Shadow Paladins, just because I like how Shadow Paladins look in the Dark Dragon type of concept, and most specifically, I would probably just say Revengers or anything with Phantom Blaster Overlord. So probably the new Revengers, not Raging Form, because that's kind of like meh. I don't. Too hype.
I feel you.
And apart from that, I don't know. I would say just like anything like Sanctuary United, Sanctuary like Royals or like Golds, just because of the fact that they look nice, but I don't like the gold top deck effect. But if anything, if I were to pick 3, it'd probably be between Minerva, Musketeers, or like whatchamacallit, Walfred. So Big Alfred that looks like a mobile palace type of thing.
Yeah.
Good one. Okay, so
personal opinion, Musketeers do what Gold Paladins do better.
Oh my gosh, that's actually true. Oh yeah, that's. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that.
You can thank Marcus for that.
Guys, you gotta get Marcus to come to the next one so that he can share his opinions in this. Alright? Okay, so next question. What will subscribers expect to see from your channel? I think, Matt, you can go first, and I'll say second.
Well, I'm having a little problem trying to understand the question. What is it that we're trying to get at?
What will subscribers expect to see? Like, what content will they expect to see, I guess?
Well, okay. Well, if you're going to be watching the videos that I post, I think you want to expect not a lot of the same, because most deck profiles are going to be the same no matter what. The only difference is going to be like technical stuff, like within the grade 1 or grade 2 count. But you're probably going to see like ingenuity in a sense. Like I already put up that Oracle Think Tank deck that was supposed to be not necessarily tournament like ready, but you can definitely use it in casual play, and it can be definitely dangerous if you play it correctly. But I think that's sort of what you want to expect from me. Things that you wouldn't exactly expect from the general meta, I think. Like, a lot of the things that I did with Oracle Think Tank is I just started messing around. I know almost every combination because people are always going to come up with new combinations and new things. But I'm that one that wants to look at different ways to make the different combinations. So you're definitely going to see more sort of like a casual aspect rather than a meta, but my casual can also compete with the meta. Which is what I like about Vanguard, because you can sort of mix and match both and be able to like separate and come back together, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if anybody, like, if you aren't subscribers of our channel already, you will, this is just a quick info little tip, that Matt and both Marcus are new to the channel and new to the team just because of the fact that we had previously more members, but they could not continue with the team because of reasons. So we extended our reach to other YouTubers / Cardfight Vanguard people. And yeah, so now he's on, and he's doing a great job. Check out his videos on our channel, guys. Definitely great. Like, it's refreshing in a way because it's more techie and more fun based.
Yeah, it's definitely more relaxed. I try to make it so that when I play, I'm having fun with what I'm playing rather than I'm just trying to play what I'm playing because I want to win. Yeah.
And quick little snippet. We do also all right, immaturity away. We also do Waste Wars, guys, and other card games. Like Matt does Yu-Gi-Oh on the side, and that's totally cool. You can find that in the channel as well a bit. And we also do Wage Wars, obviously, and that's what we do right now with Cardfight Vanguard. And it's possible that Marcus might get into WeCross, if any of you know that. Just letting you know that, I don't even know if you knew that, Matt, if you knew that he was going to get WeCross. He talked to me the other day about it. I was like, wow.
No,
really?
I haven't had a chance to catch up with him.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, so we do a lot of different stuff, but Vanguard, we will be concentrating on that because we are getting more sets in Japanese out, and Matt's going to stay with the English format because he wants to. So that's totally cool.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I guess on my side of the things, because I am if you'll see I pretty much started the channel with Matt and, Matt number 2 and a bunch of other guys, so what you can look forward to seeing is pretty much nowadays Cardfight Vanguard wise is Japanese Cardfight Vanguard content and English from Matt's sides, but more of the meta type of Japan type of stuff, and hopefully some more stuff that is revolved around, like we do improving your game segments, so we want to help the mindset of the competitive player and tell you what is best to think about in a certain situation or what is best in like a deck or ratios or how to help you improve just in general. But also we like to do sometimes fun videos and like mail day unboxing. So like we do get a lot of stuff in, like sleeves and all that, and we do like vending type of thing. So we want to put a little bit of mix of everything, getting the anime in there, getting the Cardfight Vanguard, the waste, every little card game in there.
Yeah.
So it's a good all-around type of thing. Cause
I think we want to sort of have like a general understanding of everything. Like I will probably be more focused on the English formatting, but I am somewhat knowledgeable on the Japanese meta, so we can always talk about back and forth both the English TCG versus the Japanese OCG. We want to be able to have a broad spectrum of knowledge for that. You guys can always ask us, and we'll always be able to have the answer. And if we don't have an answer, we could easily look it up and be able to tell you.
Yeah, because the North American Vanguard versus like the Japanese Eastern Vanguard is completely different because they play a different style. Like even you can like what's it called? Like copy a deck from like somebody that just won WGP in Japan, but it might not work over here just because of the play style and all that. But that's since we play here and we understand the thinking behind every card they play in Japan, we should be able to help you guys and compare and say what would be best in a certain meta.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, if you haven't really noticed already, there's a lot of like artistic people on this channel, and we do want to get like lots of artsy stuff going, so we'll try to find some more fun things to do, like maybe like arts and crafts type of thing. Like I know that sounds really kid-like, but you'll see what we mean at some point, like deck boxes and all that. So yeah.
Sounds good.
Anything else, Matt, or should I just go on to the topic?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, so out of the 3 topics we chose, guys, we picked, does this game involve more skill or luck? And as you can first read off from our slogan, Team DivinePro, no luck, all skill, I think you can kind of guess what we're going at right here.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm going to argue that it's going to be more skill rather than luck. However, there is some element of luck, but that is true with any card game.
Yeah, there's always the factor
using Yu-Gi-Oh as an example, say your opponent has a very large field and you end up top decking Dark Hole. That's incredibly lucky. I mean, not very often are you going to top deck the key card that you need at that time, but it happens in any card game. So it takes skill in realizing what you need to play within a deck and what are your limitations within that deck. Being knowledgeable about the cards that you're playing, that's what takes skill. The other part that takes skill is being able to know what your opponent is playing and how their play style is like. Not just the deck itself. Let's say I'm using Oracle Think Tank and my opponent is using Kagero. Not only do I need to know how my opponent personally plays, but I need to know how the cards themselves are played. That way I can counter to his counter. That's what's more skill-based, being able to strategize against your opponent so that you don't minus as much as your opponent. Other than that, the only thing that is lucky or luck-based is drawing or triggering your triggers.
Yeah. So, like, That's really what it is. Like getting into your opponent's head and like thinking it out. So it's best sometimes, guys, to like even though you don't want to play a deck, you just play it just because of the fact that you want to know how the ins and out of that deck, how they go before you play against it. So that's really something that would be recommended to do. But as regard to like, is it skill or luck? There's always a factor of luck. It's just how much more luck is there in this game. But we're like relating back to what Matt said about skill in like top decking a certain card. It also takes a lot of skill to know how many cards, like to count how many cards left you have in that deck and what your odds are to get that deck. Like say I had something that can allow me to counterblast 2 and draw 1 card. I need to know if I want to activate that ability or if I want to limit break, or if I'm looking for a certain card in my deck, do I want to draw it now? Like, will I be able to draw it just because of the fact that I have, like, say, 10 cards left in my deck, or if I want to draw it when I have 20 cards? You have to, like, know when to activate certain effects and when to read your opponent's, like, body gestures and everything to know if they're in a bad situation and you can take advantage of it. So it's really, if you're playing face-to-face, it takes a lot of skill. But when you're playing virtual, it's not very, I'll admit it, it's not very skill-based because all you have to do is figure out what to hit with columns, and then if you can remember in your head if they checked a certain amount of triggers. Like if they have 3 cards and you know that one's like a grade 3 and a perfect guard, then you probably have the win if you can push for it.
Yeah, virtual is a little different. You have to also keep account for the RNG. That's always going to be a thing. Believe it or not, like any other game, this is actually a numbers game. So one thing that you also want to keep in mind, and this is what separates the incredibly skilled to the just learning or the just intermediate players, is keeping track of how many cards they've used within a certain parameter. So let's say you're guaranteed 16 triggers within a deck. If you know for a fact that they've used up 8, that means you have 8 left in their deck. And considering how good or bad their deck compression is, you'd be able to use the statistics within the cards left in his deck to determine whether or not he's going to trigger or not. So you can safely guard or safely no guard without having any repercussion damage. Not to mention, you can also keep track of how many certain units he has left. So let's say he has a Bedivere clone if he's running Royal Paladins. If he runs 4 Bediveres and he's already wasted 3, then you only know that there's 1 left, and you don't have to worry about that specific unit anymore because that's probably going to be his heavy hitter. Now he's left with nothing. So you need to be able to know or read what is constantly going on the field, because the number game becomes a very big issue, and people don't always realize this.
That is really true. Like, numbers are hugely important in any game, guys, and like it just takes skill and kind of like an ability to just like ask your opponents, like, how many triggers do you have in your, like, do you mind if I check your drop zone or anything? It takes skill to know when you have to activate certain abilities, as I've said before, and how Matt said, you just need to have a skill to know when to call out those perfect guards and when to call out a certain card, even though you want to have it for guard. Like, if it's, you need to know when it's like your last turn, and if you die here, it's over, even if you have cards in your hand, type of thing.
Yeah, and despite how big your deck is and the cards in your hand, you do have limited resources. If you are at 5 damage and you're pushing for game, then you're only allowed how many counterblast, how many cards in hand, how many attacks, depending on the triggers that you run. You need to keep everything into account, because if you screw up even the slightest bit, that might turn out to be your biggest disadvantage. Misplaying could be a huge turnaround for the player that you may be playing, and if they want to be a dick and call final turn, then that is probably much deserved, because you made the wrong play at the wrong time.
That's actually really true. Like, especially with like the new cards, guys, it's less room for error, and it takes more skill, like the better players, to know how to get around them. Like, say, like taking your example for Kagero and Oracle Think Tank. Now, like, if they're having Kagero, and you know that, actually, let's take like Link Joker for example. Like, we'll take Glendios and say your Oracle Think Tank. It would take most people in a situation like that, they would just try to rush the opponent and try to kill them. But then for a deck like Oracle Think Tank, you need to know your deck in how it plays if it's a rush deck or if it's a long-term deck. And I would say that Oracle Think Tank's more of like a intermediate deck. So for Matt, may say it'd be important for him to know that he needs to leave like at least maybe one or two rearguard spots open so that he can't world end you in the end, and to leave room so that even if you get locked a few times, you still have room for a rearguard to attack.
Exactly. You need to be able to your deck's limitations is. If you're playing Link Joker, then you're probably going to be very much a boss. Playing Tank, you're probably going to be a little bit more conservative and wait it out. And if you're running Full Moon of the Goddess like I am, you're probably going to wait a few turns before you actually get off your combo moves and get to your stack, because obviously 5 cards at the bottom is incredibly cheating because it's legal stacking. But you need to be able to recognize when it is what am I trying to say? When it is appropriate to activate everything. So it's just it's a mindset. You have to make it a mindset.
It is definitely a mindset. Like even the mulligan, it's a mindset. Like you need to know what you want to send back and what you don't. Especially like if you're running a ride chain, say like the Blaster, like the Phantom Blaster Overlord ride chain, or like say the Full Moon thing. If you have like nothing of the ride chain in your hand, and you have a grade 1, you just keep the one grade 1 and send everything back, just so that you can try to get the ride chain going, but you still ensure that you have a grade 1 for that turn.
Yeah, because God knows how many times I've missed the ride chain, and it hurt me so much.
Exactly. It's really bad. Like it sucks when that happens, but like it's a thing about the game. That's the luck. That's the luck factor right there. But if you've built your deck properly, then you can't really say that I did not play to the best of my abilities. So it all ends down to luck, but it does more involve from everything from the deck building to the playing, just skill.
I think a little advice is before you get the deck, and figure out how it plays, figure out how you play specifically, because if within a certain way, and you and your deck just don't exactly click, like something's going on, then it's probably probably switch and try something else. Because, for example, I didn't always like Pale Moon. I was like, I don't want to waste the time and like pick up the cards and build a deck of my own. Once I picked it up, I was like, this deck is so much fun. I can't believe I didn't pick it up sooner. What's going on here, you know?
Yeah.
So
it's a lot easier too nowadays.
Well, yeah, because a lot of the stuff is more sort of readily available, but you need
online.
Yeah, you need to be able to just recognize who you are as a player and what the deck can provide for you, because like the deck in its essence is basically a extension of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So like guys, if you want to know like I've seen people beat like Nouvelle Vague with like the Oracle Think Tank. Like I'm not picking on Oracle Think Tank or anything, but just like that first thing that came to my mind, just because the person knew how to play the deck, and like they knew, like they put in their own text because they knew how to make plays and everything. And like it's just basically, if you want to play test something, you can ask your friends, and then they'll tell you. I like to play more aggressive, and I like to push harder. Then it's like, okay, maybe you're good for Spike Brothers. But like, if you're not too sure about it and you don't have anybody to go ask about, then you can always just go online and look it up and then see, like, start playing online. Because I know that they have online versions now, not as good as beforehand, but they still have them, and that you can still use them and you can still try it out. If not, then just ask to borrow a deck, or just maybe shuttle in a bit of money, but first ask your friends' opinions and see. Or you can ask us, because, you know, Team DivinePro, no luck, all skill.
We're always here for you.
All right. So is anything else, Matt, before we conclude this podcast?
No, I think that's a pretty good ending to a first episode.
All right. So, yeah, guys. So this has been Team DivinePro with a spotlight video answering questions from Domino Paris 21. Big shout out to him for letting us be on the channel. Thanks again. And this has been Tony, and
this is Matt.
Signing off. Later.
See you guys.